As some of you know already that I am not politically correct. And I don't believe that the politician can provide the solution, especially when the politician does not have a moral ground that they stand on. I came up with the allegory of the sheep. Maybe some of you heard me saying it somewhere else. The sheep thinks that the shepherd, their best friend. The shepherd provides water, food, and creates the illusion for the sheep that it's protector. Sometimes wearing a mask, a political mask, in the West Bank or Tunisia or other locations, sometimes wearing an ideological and religious mask in Gaza or maybe other capitals of the Arab world. They have their own way to deceive the sheep and make the sheep dependent on them. But unfortunately, by the time the sheep realized that the shepherd was not their best friend or the protector of their interest, they're already in the slaughterhouse. This is the reality of what's happening in the Middle East. Leaderships of the Palestinian people, my people, by the way, and I have the authority to say this. If they disown me, if they label me as a traitor, they can say whatever they want to say. I sacrificed a lot for the sake of Palestine, of Islam, even of Hamas. I spent 27 months in Israeli prisons. I grew up witnessing the first Palestinian Intifada, and I had no idea what was going on. As a child, I was fed with hatred that Israel was our enemy, and Israel was the source of our suffering, while the Palestinian leaderships, from Yasser Arafat to Mahmoud Abbas to Abu Jihad, all of them were sitting in Tunisia, spending billions of dollars. In the meantime, they were sending children to die, throwing stones, facing Israeli soldiers. I was one of them. They used us. They sent us to the slaughterhouse. They wanted us to die. The shepherd thought, how many sheep I'm going to sacrifice today to get the attention of the world, so maybe we get some more funds. So they decided to slaughter 100 sheep, 200 sheep. Then Hamas came later on, 20 years later. And they did the same thing, using children and women as a human shield in Gaza Strip. Then we have now a new mask for the shepherd, and written on it BDS, to manipulate the international community, create chaos. They're very good at doing that. Whether you call it intifada, you create chaos. In a state of chaos, you distract everybody, and the thief knows how to find a way. Same thing now, on a global scale. They are manipulating the friends of Israel, the only democracy in the Middle East, the only true democracy. While the shepherd, by the way, is not legitimate anyway. You know, somebody, they sit here in this house of shame. I agree with you, Mr. Daniel. I agree. They don't represent the Palestinian people anyway. Who are you representing? The Palestinians in the West Bank or the Palestinians in the Gaza Strip? You are representing greed. Wearing the mask with what's so-called Palestinian cause. You're a liar. You're a Lucifer. And at some point, you will be unmasked. If they were sincere and truthful in their approach towards peace, they would go and educate the Palestinian people, first of all, of the actual history, not their history. To compare Israel to apartheid of the South Africa. This is no comparison. The state of Israel, I know terrorists when I spent time in prison who had blood on their hands of Jewish people, and they had the right to go to schools and study and achieve higher degrees from Israeli schools. In Jerusalem, the Israeli government give the Muslims the right to worship on Temple Mount, and in the meantime does not give the right to the Jewish people to practice their religious freedom on Temple Mount. Israel, before BDS, which is, BDS is only a continuation to what has been happening for many years since its establishment. I ask myself, a country like Indonesia or other countries thousands of miles away, Muslim countries, why are they boycotting Israel? What Israel has to do with them? But they have been unifying to delegitimize the state of Israel, not since the beginning or the establishment of BDS. BDS is just a new face. It's the new mask. I say those people need to be exposed to public. They are creating, as they created the chaos and the division within the Palestinian society, and they blamed Israel, now they are doing it on a global scale to make everybody hate Israel and to turn Israel's friends against it, to turn other democracies against Israel. It's their game. They're very good at it. One of the most powerful tools to stop them, I say, stop giving them money. Instead, I'm about to conclude. Instead of empowering them against the Palestinian people, empower the Palestinian people, empower the individual against them. Create jobs, create opportunities. This is what we need. I'm actually very pleased to know and about this example. Those settlements that they say settlements, those are great communities and great opportunities to create and establish more industrial zones, to create job opportunities for the Palestinian people. This is what they need. They need education, they need economy, they need prosperity, they need to feel safe. This is more important than all the political and religious agendas that their leaderships wear to deceive them and deceive the rest of the world. This is from my own experience. I know that this is harsh, but in times like this, when I see the separation, when I see the division, somebody has to say something. They are not trustworthy. They are the enemies of the Palestinian people. And I'm not talking only about the Hamas extremists. Also, I'm talking about the what's so-called moderate hypocrites. There are two types of Palestinian leaderships. One is terrorist, and the second is hypocrite. And the hypocrite leadership, by the way, is more dangerous, in my opinion, than the terrorists. Because the terrorists, you know how to deal with them. But the hypocrite leadership, you don't know their true color, you don't know how to respond to them. I think this is enough for now.